Hello, magic makers, and welcome. It's Lisa McCradle, your inner wisdom awakener and your consciousness expander. And I'm here today to update you with the May energy forecast, what you can expect in the month to come. This is based on a little bit of numerology, a little bit of astrology, and the four main components as my guides directed for us to pay attention to this month. So those four main energies are resilience, prudence, creativity, and the ultimate frequency of love. So we'll be expanding upon those as we go. So I just want to first bring in a little bit of the astrology in this. And if you like what's happening here, please, please, please like, subscribe, share, and make sure you hit the little bell in YouTube subscribe so that you get the notifications when the next videos come out. So there's a continuation of a lot of energy still moving through. We are by no means through the eye of this needle is what I want to say. We are still in evolution. We are still in new creation. We are still deep in the opportunity of expansion and birth into new frequencies as we are in the active process, as I perceive it, of our collective awakening of our consciousness, moving from a third dimensional imprint into finding comfort in the fourth dimension and ultimately reaching to the fifth dimension, like licking the sky of the fifth dimension, as I like to refer to it. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming with this May energy. It has a very, very strong presence of activating you into a greater presence and a greater awareness. Now, there's been a lot of convolution of the evolution of our frequencies over these past 2 months that we have been experiencing, riding this Rona wave. And my sense is that there's a new awareness that is coming, like a stronger activation for you to have an opportunity to have greater self-reflection. Okay, so we're kind of moving out of the chaos, but a little bit greater self-reflection, self-awareness, and how that self-awareness then contributes back into the collective at large. And although it's going to come with like a really strong activation, it's a pretty heavy hitting month. There's also this underbelly of softness that comes of gifting you with the opportunity of like romance and more creativity and kind of like the softening lens of compassion and of grace, and really an opportunity for an expansion of great heart openings. So let's talk a little bit about the astrology. There are 4 planets that will be going retrograde in the first part of May. So retrogrades are always an opportunity to take the lens from the outside and kind of go inward, right? It turns the mirror, if you will, and gives you a reflective time about how do I respond? How am I responding to that which is happening around me? And how do I take my perspective or my perception out of the collective of what's happening in the world? And how do I bring it back into like what's happening in my internal world? And how does that internal world and that solidification of understanding your internal mechanisms, then how does that inform how you move back into the outside world? And then one of the biggest events is we have a super full moon on the 7th of May in the sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio, lots of energy, potent energy, a big burst of extra intensity coming. And the beauty of what Scorpio does is it not only does it bring all this energy with it, but it also has this capacity to like be the great revealer, right? It like parts the seas, if you will, to get right to the directive of what is the great mystery and what is happening that we might not be able to see from other perspectives and other lenses. And then when we pair this with the full moon, right? The full moon is the great activator. It's the great revealer. It's shining the brightest light, and it's a super full moon. And all that really means is that it's closest to the planet. So its intensity, or we're going to perceive it as larger. Okay, so with all of these components coming together, it's an opportunity for like casting the light where the shadows have been, and bringing us out of illusions and into the great reveal digging into the great mystery and shining light on that which has not always been easy to see. So there'll be an opportunity to see with a clearer lens, and that will have great effect in your own personal life and in the collective at large. Then let's move into the numerology. So it's the 5th month, and the number 5 brings with it an opportunity for like a lot of change and perspective. If you look at how the number moves, it moves in all directions, right? So you can have perspective from these different directions. That also can create a sense of a little bit of chaos because it is moving in all directions, but it has great opportunity for an enhancement to expand your thinking, to expand how you're thinking, to be able to perhaps digest with greater ease the information that's being revealed with the fullness and the sharp, the heavy hit, if you will, of the Scorpio moon. So it gives you this expansive thinking. It allows you to move into a greater consciousness and a greater awareness that you are the creator of your reality and of your life. And it'll activate that greater frequency of creativity as well, but also to realize that like you're the creator. And so however you want to create this reality, no matter how distorted it might be, because there's lots of distortions of the lens right now as we're moving through this epic experience as a collective of humanity. So it's opportunity to put you in the driver's seat is what I want to say, of being the creative force in your life and realizing that you have the responsibility for the creations as they are. Remembering responsibility is simply your ability to respond in any given moment. So it also naturally brings forth an openness for change. Five kind of expands and creates an openness or a willingness for transformation, for experiencing new things, for being a little bit more adventurous in maybe places where you've been timid to venture into, is what I want to say. And then it also gives you a really clear opportunity. You know, if you look at how 5, it goes out and then it sees itself. It's a great reflector of self. And that gives you an opportunity to have a really clear lens of who you've been and how you've been without judgment. That's the beauty of the number. Now, it can create some chaos. That can be the downside of 5, but my sense is if you're really optimizing, we've already been very primed given how the last 2 months have been and the energies that have come through. You've been very primed to be ready for this great reveal of your own truth and that of the collective. And then it's also a 9 universal month if you add up the 5 plus the 2 plus the 2 for the 5th month in the year of 2020. 9 is the number of completion. It's the number of, it's like the wrap up, right? Because then we move right back into the 1 after the 9, and that's the fresh new start. So it has a completion cycle. It's an ending cycle. And it's also an opportunity to really look back into forgiveness in places that maybe you've been playing through the shadows of the past. And this is a really interesting time because bringing in, like, if we're moving through the 3rd dimension lens and this shadow of the past and the forgiveness for the limitations and the separations and the sufferings that we experienced and really created from the lens of the 3D. So this month is giving you a really great opportunity for reveal, to bring those timelines into present time so they can fall away, to forgive, to reveal, to forgive, and to heal is what I'm getting. And with that, it really sets you up to be in this creative exploration and this non-judgment of all the parts of yourself that the 5 brings. So there's the pairing through the numerology. It's really an opportunity to release what is holding you back, to claim and optimize from a new level of your own freedom. So everything, as I said, has been really leading up to this to give you all of the tools, and all of the processes have already been in order to bring you into the fruition of what May is going to bring. Now, there's still more coming. This isn't wrapped up in a bow, but it is a progression, I want to say, and May's energies are coming in to progress you nicely along the path of this awakening and this ascension. So let's talk first about the first word that came in my prayer for this month was resilience. Now, we've all had an opportunity to really find next level resilience just with literally every aspect, every corner of our lives has been distorted, has been shifted, compromised, and the opportunity. I mean, obviously, we're experiencing a really heightened level of resilience because we realize that we are adaptable in all things. I'm not saying that it's always easy, but you understand when pushed to edges how resilient you really are as a human being. And so resilience is the capacity, by definition, is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It's this like rubber band effect. It's resilient, it's stretched, and then it springs back, and stretched a little bit more and springs back. It's pliable, right? Pliable and mobile. It's this like resilient, this like breathing and expanding experience that we're having. So we can look at this from a linear perspective, from a practical experience of what we're all moving through here in this new, yet to be defined norm, right? We're moving through to something new, and we do not know where it will land, but we know we're in it. So there's a natural resilience. So if you're willing to honor the resilience that is innate and true in every one of us, like every human is experiencing a resilience that maybe they did not know that they had capacity for, and here you are in the middle of it, so you're resilient. So honor the resilience. And as we continue through this journey, I keep seeing it as this like, there's just expansion and contraction and expansion and contraction, and it's so mobile. But no, take deep breaths and know that your soul, your body, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually was created to be resilient. It was created. You said yes to this experience. And here you are. And from the outer levels of where we be and where I explore in connection with the Pleiadians and the Light Council, we are in great honor for, they are honoring us. We are to honor ourselves at a very high level for our willingness to be here in our resilience at this profound and epic time in the transformation of the consciousness of humanity at large. So the next word was prudence. Now, prudence can be a caution, be prudent in your movements and your desires and how you move. It can be defined as cautious, but my sense was we're changing cautious into conscious. Like, be conscious in all things, and you get to your consciousness by being in a greater willingness to be in greater presence. Right? Are you present so you can be conscious in all things that you are choosing, all things that you are saying, all things that you are experiencing, and all the ways of which you are willing to be. Like, have prudence in how you're optimizing your time, how you're communicating with others, how you're moving money through you. Be mindful of what it is that you do want. And be very mindful of what it is that you are willing to allow that to move freely from you, that you are no longer in ownership. You can be mindful of what it is and how it is you're moving forward with great prudence. The next one is creativity. So like the energy that's coming through right now, it's very, very strong. Second chakra. Okay, so second chakra, we move a lot through the familial, through the imprints and the overlays of the past. It's also the aspect of divine creation. It's the womb energy, right? And the color of it is a beautiful orange. And so we're experiencing, and we're about to experience, an amplification in May of really profound creative energy. Now, how you spend your creative energy, because we're coming out of the pause, so how you're going to be utilizing your creative energies of your choosing. And Source is saying choose well, how you're wanting to express the creative energy that's coming through you. Um, if we think of the seed of the womb as being where we plant the seeds of all intention, then that's the activation of creativity itself. So lots of opportunity for creative thinking. You're getting creative about how you're spending your time, how you're spending your energy, how you're spending your money, how you're receiving more of all of it: time, energy, money, who you're spending who you're expending your precious energy with. Right? There's lots of great reveals happening here. And so creativity. So really give some pause this month and some focus and intention to how can you activate a greater creative life, greater creative living in all the ways of which it wants to show itself to you. And then the final thought, essence or energy, I will say that's wanting to really burst through you this month. It's the essence of love. So we've been riding through opportunities as a collective to really navigate a significant amount of fear that the virus has brought, and lockdown has brought, and people not working and sequestering in their homes, and like there's so much opportunity to move into fear. And now that we've kind of neutralized into a new norm for now, it's really a potent time this month to activate that fear frequency, which vibrates at a much lower frequency, to elevate it into a higher frequency, which is that of love. So they say that all human emotions can be equated into these two energies. We're either in fear or we're in love. And fear is the contractor, it's the destroyer, it's the deactivator, right? It paralyzes. And just look at the animal world. How do animals respond from fear? And how do they respond from the exact opposite, which is the expression and expansion of love itself? The elevation, the enhancement, the pleasure of, you can feel the vibratory frequency expand in your own body. Love is the great creator. It's the great enhancer. It's what creates the fluidity to make all possible through its vibrational frequency. See, it's very high elevated. It elevates around 500. And fear is down here in the, in the 80s or lower. And if you attach shame to it, then you're vibrating in the 20s. So we're really far. They're really far positions vibrationally. And you have the capacity within you to choose. So please, in all things, if you are willing and you want freedom, then your opportunity is to choose in the lens of love. And with that, I would also love to offer you, I'm doing a free webinar. It's called Love Illusion. Did you know that when you spell evolve, there's love written right there in it? So as we're evolving in consciousness, we're also activating new frequencies to bring us closer and more in alignment to set the tone, if you will, to set our frequencies, our stabilized frequency to a higher vibration, which is that of love itself. So I would love for you to join me. The link is in bio. It's below this video. And with all of that, please know that you have everything within you to activate all of these aspects in this month to come. You are an incredible light being because you're here on the planet. And everything that you are in desire of creating is already alive within you. So have a bountiful month, enjoy the ride, and know that you are loved.